Well, as promised, this is the final review of the Creatureplica figure line. Gotta say, this has been just one of the best action figure lines I've ever seen. Today we are looking at the Louisiana Rougarou, or it's also called Rougarou. And it's a werewolf, and the background on these is, you know, we've all seen probably the classic Wolfman movie from the Universal Studios, 1941. We've probably seen some of the other sequels that the Wolfman has been in, starring Lon Chaney Jr. We know that in order to become a werewolf, you have to be bitten by one or scratched by one. Well, the Rougarou kind of takes a little bit of a different, different path. The Rougarou is actually under a curse. So it's turned into a werewolf by a voodoo curse, witchcraft, or whatever. This comes from Cajun stories. So that's a little bit of the background on the Rougarou. Some also think that the Rougarou is actually a swamp Bigfoot. So who knows? Anyway, that's a little bit of background on the character. And on the legend. Let's get a look at the packaging. And here we see the packaging. You can see the Rougarou right there on the package, as well as there's really not any difference in this packaging and the other packaging. I mean, here we see where it says Louisiana Rougarou. So there's really not much difference other than the background and everything like that. And speaking of which, this has a background of what appears to be a swamp, which seems to be the locale where these Rougarou live. And apparently the Rougarou, unlike a werewolf, a traditional werewolf, can walk around in the daytime as a werewolf. I think it's because it's a little bit of a different, what you might call aesthetic. Because the Rougarou is not bitten by another wolf or bitten by a werewolf. So it's a little bit different. It can apparently walk during the day and night, much like the alleged Dogman. Because Dogmen have been seen both during the day and at night. So that's if they exist. That's if there are such things as Dogmen. Anyway, that's the packaging. Let's get a better look at the figure. Okay, now I'm not going to go over all the major points of articulation because this shares much of the same articulation with the Horror Hound. However, I am going to show you articulation that even the Horror Hound does not have. For instance, the Rougarou has the ability to open and close its jaws. So you can display it with its jaws wide open, which I think is a pretty cool feature. Also, one other thing it can do, it can turn its ears. You can turn its ears. You can flatten them out or raise them, which I think is pretty cool. I like the features of the hair and the fur on it and all that. That looks pretty great. Also comes with these bits of what appears to be a torn shirt. You can see this bit right here, and also on the wrists. There's bits of torn shirt on the wrist. I don't know if you can see it from that angle. There you go, right there, and right there, and off the base. And what we see here is a swampy type base, very swampland like, and we see it has a trophy of a skeleton. You see the skull, rib cage, maybe a leg bone right there, or maybe an arm bone. I'm not really sure. Well, that's pretty intimidating. Definitely, this is a creature you mess with. That's for sure. No question about that. Okay. We have to set it back up on the stand, as it were. Sometimes these figures have a tendency to fall over. Not so sure I really like that. I mean, I think they're a little bit on the heavy side. But basically, that's the Rougarou figure. It has a lot of the same musculature on it as the Horror Hound, and I won't go into that. But of course, it has the fangs, the prerequisite fangs, werewolf. Oh, one other thing I forgot to show. I've turned around to the back. You may see, matter of fact, I think it'll be pretty clear. Probably pretty clear right now. You see a tail. Just a little bitty tail on the Rougarou. Which that's a little bit different from traditional werewolf stories. Traditional werewolf stories, they usually don't have tails. So I thought that was a pretty cool little feature. And you know, by the way, elements of the torn shirt can be removed. So if you want to display it with or without the elements of the torn shirt, you can do that. Either way, it doesn't matter, because it's a great figure. It's a great looking figure. I do like the attention to detail of the torn shirt. I do like that. Now, they are planning to release a variant on this figure, which is going to be white. Mostly white. It's going to be called the Ghost Wolf. And that'll be a convention exclusive. That's going to be coming out later this year. I also wanted to point out that they're coming out with a variant on the Horror Hound as well, a new variant. But, you know, as I mentioned with my review of the Horror Hound, I am extremely impressed with both the Horror Hound and the Rougarou. And I can't wait to see more in this line. I mean, this is a great line of figures. It really is. And I have nothing but support for these for this figure line. You know, these guys are great. Well, I mean, you know, the guys at Creatureplica and also the figures themselves. So, I mean, these figures are absolutely terrific. Much as I gave to the Horror Hound, this gets a 5 out of 5 as well. This is a terrific figure, terrific collectible. As I mentioned in my Horror Hound review, these guys are not for kids. These figures are not for kids. These are for collectors. And, you know, as I mentioned also, you know, initially I wasn't intending to get the Rougarou or the Horror Hound. I'd only wanted the Sasquatch and the Yeti, but the guys at Creatureplica were nice enough to send me all the figures in their line, and you know something? I'm glad they did. I'm very happy they did. I'm very satisfied with these figures. I mean, like I said, the Rougarou and the Horror Hound turned out to be my two favorites out of this line. They turned out to be my favorites, and I can't say enough good things about these figures. They are really terrific. And of course, again, you can go to Creatureplica.com to pick up the entire set. And I would recommend that, by the way. I recommend picking all 4 of them up. They are the attention to details and things of that nature, and the fact that Gene St. Jean is interested in and involved in the Sasquatch mystery. And he's very open-minded about it. I mean, that's just a bonus. That's just a bonus because he cares about the subject and the subject matter. So this concludes this series of reviews. You can check my channel right here for the reviews of the other 3 figures in this line: the North American Sasquatch, the Himalayan Yeti, and the Horror Hound. Get these figures, folks. Get them. Creatureplica.com. Check them out on Facebook. The guys are on Facebook, and they're more than willing to answer any questions you may have about this line. Usually they get back to you pretty quick, and that's one thing I appreciate about this figure line. These guys are hands-on and they're approachable. You know, Jeff and Gene and Craig and what's the other guy's name? Nick. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, they're very approachable. You can ask them questions about this line and they'll be glad to tell you. They'll be glad to reveal information to you also. I want to kind of throw this out there a little bit, but there is a Patty figure on the list, as in the Patterson-Gimlin film. Gene St. Jean told me that himself. And I suggested to him when he releases it, he should release it with the waist articulation or perhaps a torso joint, and also have the hinged feet to simulate the mid-tarsal break. He says that figure is on the list. There's also going to be a Skookum release this year, which will have the body of the Sasquatch but a different head sculpt. A silverback Sasquatch, which will also have a darker body, the same body type, but will have a different head sculpt as well. And there may be, I heard there may be an Orang Pendek somewhere in the future also. As well as maybe a skunk ape. I would love to see a variation on the Yeti, like a variant color of the Yeti. Maybe make it more orange or reddish, because some witnesses have reported almost a reddish color to the hair of some of the Yetis that they've seen. Or maybe a darker colored Yeti, maybe dark brown, maybe black. And I think there is also possibly a Mothman and a Flatwoods monster that may be coming out of this line. Now those would be cool. I would love to have a Mothman figure made by Gene St. Jean, or sculpted by Gene St. Jean. Wow, that would be awesome. And then the Flatwoods monster as well. There's also a proposed gray alien in the works. So that'd be something that you X-Files fans could enjoy. I would probably enjoy that myself because I'm a fan of the X-Files. So, but yeah, this is a great line, and I give my full support to the Creatureplica guys. They're doing a great job. Their product is great. Their customer service is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I heard that a couple of guys who got the North American Sasquatch, they were trying to mess with the arm a little bit, and part of the arm fell off. And they contacted Creatureplica, and they got a replacement pretty quick for the Sasquatch figure. So that is commitment to customers. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about this company. They have this great commitment to the customers as well. And I can't say enough good things about the figures. I can't say enough good things about the company. You know, and their commitment to the customer service. Yes. here's my thumbs up for Creatureplica. Get these figures. They are terrific. And that concludes my reviews of the Creatureplica action figure line Series 1.